Hi. Well, I will send it to you certainly after. But
Cool.
hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing
I've been
all the
doing some
things.
podcast, editing today. So
Oh my
we'll see how that
gosh.
goes.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm going to be on it August 8th.
I know. I'm very excited. So I'm gonna move so I have a little better spot. But
Mhm.
um, Dr. Monday, Dr. Julianne, tell us a little bit about your program and what it is that you're working on and specializing in. Because I
Cool. Yeah.
talked about it on my stories, and then I was like, maybe I got that. I'd like you to hear it from you.
Say what you said again. You cut out.
I got it. I talked a little bit about it on my stories, but I'd like to hear it from you. Yeah.
Yes, I work with anxious moms of about 5 to 12-year-olds. That's the age range I'm kind of zoning in on, who
Hmm.
are struggling with mom guilt and feeling like they're able to support their child's emotional dysregulation. So, sensitive kiddos, big feeling kiddos, those ones that just tend to have like a lot of outbursts and feel things deeply, how to support their moms. With the mom guilt, with the strategies, and really understanding the brain science behind child development. Like what is going on in the brain during these
Yeah.
transitions?
Yeah.
What is
And
going
so,
on when it's
do you talk a little bit to moms that want to work with you about like the dynamic between what's going on for mom and what's going on for kiddos?
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to get into a lot today with our overlap, right? Is like kids feel energy off of their attachment caregiver, right? So, first and foremost, I feel like the first module of my course is how do I regulate myself before I even go into supporting my kiddo with a tough feeling, right? Because if I'm anxious and I'm stressed and I'm overloaded and I'm having a hard time settling myself, there's no way I can possibly do a good job or a effective
Hmm.
job of co-regulating with my little one who's
Yeah.
also feeling
Yeah.
that way. So like first and foremost, I feel like we don't even go into the learning of like their brain and what's going on in strategies until we have a toolkit for mom to have to how
Hmm.
do I get through when I'm feeling anxious or
Yeah. Yeah.
stressed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right that that is a big overlap between, because I work with moms who are dealing with usually pretty high conflict co-parenting dynamics. And it's, you know, often they're feeling stressed about something that has really nothing to do with the kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's like this interaction from my co-parent is stressing me out. And then I still have to parent and show up for my
Right.
kid, right?
Right.
I suppose some of the moms that you work with, it could be anxiety around a lot of different things, right? Or like they're going through their own stress response for more than just co-parenting, but that is kind of where you and I.
Intersect. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you feel
Hmm.
like with your moms that you work with, like the guilt comes up a lot? Because I know sometimes with moms, maybe not even in a co-parenting situation, or that are, there's this like guilt that they're not maybe getting what they need at the other house. And then they're carrying
Yeah.
that when kiddo comes home and their kiddo's dysregulated during like the transition into the new home. Do you find that like the guilt plays a
Well,
big part
it's
with you?
so interesting you say that because I when you said, do you think guilt has something to do with it? I wasn't even thinking about the idea that you were saying like, well, over there they're not getting over wherever there is, but like they're not getting what they need, so I have to do more. I was thinking of guilt around like I made this choice, or misplaced guilt around like I could have done more in my relationship, which usually is, some sort of trauma
Right.
response, and that's often not the case, but especially when I think sometimes when people separate and it's just not just, but it's not because of abuse, it's not because of something horrible, it's just it wasn't a
No.
good fit, then I
Mhm.
see a lot more guilt around like, but I chose to put my kid through this tough situation when really it
Ah,
it wasn't really a choice,
right. But you
Yeah.
also are getting moms that are like, I chose the wrong partner, or like that guilt, like the big decision of,
Yeah. Well, that's a good point too. Like I should have seen this coming, or I, chose somebody that was really awful to me. Why did I think they would be different to my kid?
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, how do you help moms with that? Tell us. While I plug you in because my phone's about to die.
How do I help moms with the guilt of like when they're in a
Yeah,
two
because I feel
parent,
like guilt is
a big
that's a big
one.
one. Yeah. It's a
One.
really big one. Yeah.
Literally just got off a call with a big one about guilt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's two parent household, I think I really try to support them in acknowledging like that's not helpful anymore now, right? To beat yourself up about a decision or like who you married or, um, but also, like, you don't control what dad does at his house. So, like, it's almost
Yeah.
wasted energy. And that's easier said than done. But, like, how do you notice when it's coming up? How do you pick something from your toolkit to kind of regulate and not go down that spiral of,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like, dad let him use tech all weekend. And now I have, like, the reality is we have no control over that. And I really try to hone in and reiterate that, like, one safe adult is a powerful thing, right?
Yes,
Like it
girl. That's like
really
my whole thing. I'm
it,
like, you can't control over there, but you can control you. I just dropped you.
that's okay.
There we go.
Things are getting rowdy.
Yeah, I know. But that's
Mhm.
because I was clapping so vigorously.
Yeah, because I
Are
think
you there
that's a
still?
I'm here.
Am I sideways for you?
You are.
That's great. Good Lord. Oh, girl. But yeah, it's like you can't control what happens over there. That's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even for both of our moms, like you can't control anything really outside of you and your relationship. Whether it's
Right.
school, your co-parent's house, what happens at the doctor's appointment, like you don't have that control even if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
And the power of one safe adult and how regulating that is
So
for kids
regulate.
is like it's the whole
Yeah.
thing. That's it right there.
What do you think is
I
the
also
biggest hurdle with your like getting moms that you work with to like believe that and lean into it? Because that's easier said than done, right? Like let go of what you can't
all of it is,
control.
yeah.
Yeah. Is there specific
Um,
things you do
I
or
think I think what really gets in the way or what makes things really difficult is a really well placed and true desire to do what's best for their kids, right? I don't always think it's very inappropriate. It's like, I just don't want them to have to go through that. Like, I
Mhm.
know I can't control it, but I want to control it because this is hard and it sucks and I don't like that. So that's kind of yeah, the issue. And the other thing that I was thinking about when you were talking was the difference between guilt and shame, right? And that like guilt can be sometimes it can be helpful, right? I did make a mistake. I hit your car with mine. Like that I was wrong.
Right, right.
I don't get in a lot of car accidents, um but shame would be like I'm a shitty person because I hit your car, right?
Right.
And
I'm a
so
bad mom
I'm a bad
because
mom and I just like for pure mistakes, right? Or just things that like accidents happen. We wouldn't ever say that to our kids. So why do we say it to ourselves? And I think
Mhm.
that's and again, that is so much easier said than done.
So much you said. And I've also seen, maybe you have it too, when I work with just because you don't have control over dad's house, right? And you know that there's maybe like inconsistencies or unpredictability over there, that doesn't mean you have to overcompensate when kiddo is back with you. Like I have a lot of
Mm.
moms that go above and beyond, right? And to the point where it starts to backfire because now you're stressed, now you're expecting perfection, now the guilt is higher, right? Where it's hey, simple is enough. Consistency as best you can is enough. You don't have to now like fix or overcompensate for what you feel like they're not getting at dad's house. I have a
Yeah.
lot of moms that like really feel like they need to go above and beyond to like even it out. And I'm like, that's not how it works. It's actually probably like sabotaging you a little bit because
Yeah.
now you're
Yeah.
putting so much, like such high expectations on yourself.
Well, and I see it both ways. I see overcompensating in doing too much, like
Mhm.
kind of like a YOLO sort of thing. Like, sure, you can have that. We can do that. No limits on screens, whatever.
Uh,
Like
hmm
lack of boundaries. But I also see overcompensating the other way of like,
hmm
we got to lock this down, like get back
Right.
on track. We're going to be really, really firm. And I think sometimes that gets in the way of connection and like the kind of
Attach.
transition period we see back. Yeah. Where we
Yeah.
really might need a little extra nurturance, and but we're the mom is thinking, well, I can't do that because they just came off of a week of anything goes, and
Right.
we got to course correct, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, both, right? Like it's
Yeah.
the like cliche of like the balance is important because both extremes can feel really unsafe and unpredictable to kiddo. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I think like the my program again talks a lot about like stressful periods for kids, and your biggest stressful period is that transition back, right? Like when dad drops off, when mom is dropping off at dad's house, right? It's anxiety provoking for everyone involved.
Yeah.
So I feel like not that my program targets like the co-parenting, but it overlaps with yours where
It
knowing ahead
does.
of time that like transitions and handoffs are going to be stressful. So like that's the most important time to like really lean into regulating yourself, knowing like kiddo's going to be probably a little bit, dysregulated coming back. They might miss, like, be sad to say goodbye to dad and excited to see you. So tons of feelings. But I lean
Yeah.
into like rituals and routines are so
Yeah.
helpful for the kid brain in that way. Do you talk about
Yeah.
that a lot or do you agree?
We talk a lot about that. I mean, you and I are
Mhm.
both child psychologists, so of course we're bringing these like tenets that we know work in
Yeah.
any stressful situation. But I think, yes, we talk a lot about rituals, we talk a lot about routines, and that if there's a place to do things that are a little bit out of routine, right? So if we have a consistent bedtime routine that we are,
hmm
pretty good at doing over and over, the night to bend it is transition night, right? If we
hmm
need a little bit more snuggles that night, if we need an extra book, if we need a special snack or dessert or something like that's the night to do it. And so that's what's so tricky about rituals and routines. But I think the piece that you teach that I really love is that the moms need rituals and routines too, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to have a ritual of how you stay calm before you
hmm
drive up to the transition place. You need a way to talk to yourself and a way to put all of those stressful feelings
Yeah.
aside so that you can show up for your kid, you know?
Yeah. Because it just
Yeah.
takes the thinking out of it in a place you already know you're going to be a bit emotional, right? And we know both of us,
Yeah.
like thinking brain is not working well when you're highly emotional. So like let's not even leave it up to like you have to figure out what you're going to do with kiddo when he gets dropped off or what you're going to do when you're driving to go pick up. Like just
Mhm.
create some sort of routine that you don't even have to think about. It's just what you do
Yeah.
on these
Yep.
days.
Yep.
And so that kiddo can kind of know too, oh, this is what I know to expect. Because, like, I hear you
Mhm.
with bedtime routine for sure, but I'm also thinking, like, the actual when we're driving away from dad's house every day, maybe we like listen to a song together and do a
Yes.
dance or like that
Yep.
immediate ritual as we transition. So my kid's brain knows this is what we do in mom's car when we're driving away, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, I talk a lot about like, you know, when you have difficult transitions, when kids have separation anxiety, there's kind of this old ethos that you've probably heard as well of like, do the drop off quick. Like, get in there, say goodbye, and book it out of there, right? Like, be
Mhm.
consistent, but make it quick. And I talk to moms sometimes about like, it doesn't have to necessarily be quick. Like, if you know your kid benefits from a little bit of extra time playing with them on the floor, like a smoother, softer transition, you can
Yeah,
do that. You just have to be consistent about it. And you have
right.
to share what that is. right? So I'm going to take you into your classroom. We're going to sit on the floor. We're going to play a little bit. Then when it's time for me to go, this is what I'm going to say. And this is how I'm going to do it. And we always do 2 kisses and 2 hugs. And then I leave, right? Like,
Mhm.
and the same applies to a co parenting transition. It doesn't have to be super quick. It may if it's higher conflict, but it does need to
Mhm.
be consistent as you are able to control, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're speaking more to like it's not one size fits all, right? Like you that's the attunement, that's the like you know your kid best. If they need a little bit more time, if they need that longer hug, right? And it almost creates more panic if you're trying to do it under 3 minutes type of thing,
Yeah, I
then
agree.
that's not a good fit for your kiddo, right?
Yeah.
And that
I
is
tend not
big.
to like right. Whatever.
Mine's not great either, but I can see you
Yeah.
fine
Yeah.
if you see good.
Well, why do I say, Julianne? I'm sure you say this too. It's like if it was one size fits all, or if Google could do what we do, we wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
Like my our job is to take all that information and help tailor it to your kid, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But at the end of the day, we don't even know your child as well as you do. Like we're the outsider. You know,
Yeah.
moms know what their kids need. I think we just there's so much noise in the online world about how to do things that it gets sometimes our intuition gets lost a little bit, you know?
Yeah, or you like the guilt kind of overclouds and suddenly you feel like not a good parent, not
Yeah.
confident knowing your kiddo. And like the goal of my program is at the bare minimum you come out understanding brain development, have a bit of a toolkit for yourself, have a toolkit for your kiddo, and just
Mm-hmm.
feel confident knowing like you're good enough. And that's all that's really
Mm-hmm.
required for you, for your kiddo. You're a good
Yeah.
enough mom. Perfection is not the
You
goal.
know,
Hmm.
I think that that is probably one of the most common words that I hear when people call is
Hmm.
I want tools. I need tools. I need a toolkit. We need some more tools in our tool belt. And are you there still? Looks like we
Yep.
might have dropped. Oh, you are
No,
there.
no, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I love that you use that word, even though I think it's probably overused in our world, but that's the same thing that I'm doing too. Is like, how do I give you the tools that you need so that
Mhm.
this person that's giving you a lot of negative messages about you as a parent, you
Yeah.
can then stay grounded in what you know to be true as the right thing to do for your child and for you. And
Yeah.
that's hard. It's hard when you have a inner critic, right?
Mhm.
Like if you tend more towards the anxious side, like your maybe your moms do, or
Mhm.
mine, like someone who's literally telling you negative things
Mhm.
about what you're
Mhm.
doing.
Right.
And you feel like you're under a microscope all the time from attorneys and judges and evaluators,
Mhm.
you know, can be very anxiety producing.
It is. It's
Very.
super.
Yeah.
You use a different word or do you use tools, toolkit? Like
No, I
when?
use tool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what people are wanting, you know?
Mhm.
I think in the moment it doesn't always feel like a tool. It feels more like a skill or just a way of being. But I
Yeah.
do think it's the that is probably the best word for it.
But I do find that tools do not work without the understanding behind it. That's
Agreed.
like the big reason why I put the brain and the child development science behind it. Because, like, for days, for months, I'll, say, do this tool, do this strategy, right? But it wasn't like anchored or grounded in anything. And so if you don't understand why you're doing it, you're less likely to do it, right? Like, okay, why am I doing a ritual if I don't actually like understand why rituals are beneficial for my
Yeah.
child and I? Um,
Yeah, I like that you bring in that really high level understanding of the body and the brain. I think that's very, very important for our, you know, just for kids. We're working with kids. And I think
yeah.
that's the piece about the Kids First program that's nice is like people say they want to put their kids first, but and there's a lot of opinions about what that looks like, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's helpful to have someone that actually knows child development, right? Like that's why I'm doing it. even know what I'm talking about, what helps kids. But there's a lot of voices that I'm like, but your attorney may not know. They have a
Hmm.
good idea, or they might be a parent, or they might have seen a lot of cases, and they might think about what's good in the long term for kids. But in that exact moment, when they're coming home and saying something really screwed up, you need to
Yeah.
know what to say and how to say it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so
What do you
yeah.
I imagine this is another thing that comes up with your mom's like bad mouthing the other parent, right? Or when um
Mm-hmm.
kiddo is like complaining about the other house, like I
Yeah.
imagine a lot of moms like, what do I say when they're like, I don't want to go to daddy's, or daddy was mean, or
Yeah.
even I love daddy and daddy's way better because like he doesn't have a bedtime, and not taking it personal,
Yeah.
right? Like those, that's a
Yeah.
lot of work, I think, with co-parenting.
I
Um,
agree. I agree. I think that there's probably different situations, right?
Mhm.
So there's a difference when you know and you believe, and it might be hard, but you know that this person is a pretty good dad or is a pretty good co-parent, right? Versus some of the moms that I work with where they're like, yeah, I mean, it's not great. Like it is crazy over there. Like there is a big difference to your lived experience, whether you can get along or
Mhm.
whether you're more on the higher conflict side, right? I think that what becomes really challenging is that everyone knows you shouldn't talk shit about your co-parent. That's like co-parenting 101. But it
Mhm.
gets really tricky when what they're saying is like in your head, you're like, well, that's kind of true. Right? Or like, of course you like it over there. You have no bedtime, right? Like it gets trickier when it feels, more accurate, right?
Mhm.
And I think that the bottom line is very similar to what you and I both teach a lot, which is you, the feeling or the experience, you're not actually making a comment on whether that's true or not, but you
Mhm.
are validating the feeling,
Yep.
right? I said the feeling or experience, but that's not totally right. It's like you're not commenting on whether what they're doing is right or wrong. You're commenting on the feeling, and the feeling is
Right.
always right. Right.
Yep.
And so we can say, like, that is confusing, or that is really tricky, or you're telling me you don't want to go. I'm happy you're telling me. Notice
Mhm.
I didn't say anything about whether how I feel about you going, right?
Right.
Or I didn't
Right.
say, like, yeah, he really is a big asshole, and I wish you didn't have to go too, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But you can say, like, this is really hard, and
Right.
therefore I'm not speaking poorly about my co-parent, you know?
Right. Yeah, it comes down to the validating that emotion is like first, like that should be like trying to be the first response when your kiddo comes to you.
Yes.
And both, like I had a lot of parents that I was working with in a co-parenting where there are a lot, like there are multiple feelings that are probably happening a lot of times, like specifically during the handoff, right? I am sad to be saying goodbye to dad, but I am really excited, and I am really excited to see mom. So just because
Mhm.
kiddos crying saying bye to dad does not mean they don't want to come see you or they're not
Exactly.
excited, right? And like knowing that there's room for both because both are happening, right? It's like think about
Yes.
vacation, like we're sad that we're leaving Hawaii, but
But also
and we're
kind of
excited to
happy.
get back to
Yeah.
routine, right? Or like see our
Yes.
dog again or something like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Parents
Sleep in my
I've
own bed.
found yeah,
That's what I want.
exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And parents I think struggle with that a lot where they take it personal or then it's hard to validate the emotion because it feels like you don't like me as much, right? Or like, how do I validate that you're missing this guy or the dad that I don't respect and you don't love me, right? Like it gets really complicated. Um,
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
feel they're being
Yeah. And
rejected
I
from
think
it.
so much of the work that you and I do is so much easier said than done, right? Like
Mhm.
it's just so easy to be like, yep, I just will not talk badly about him. Or like, yes, I will just regulate myself before I respond to my child. Or
Mhm.
manage my own anxiety and it'll be great. But then in practice, it becomes so much more sticky and complicated. Which,
Yeah.
not to sound like we're selling, but like you're not meant to do this work alone, right? We were
No.
never meant to be mothers by ourselves. We were never meant to be going through divorces and separations and high conflict stuff in a vacuum. Like you need community. You need people that can say like, yeah, no, that was way out of line. Like you shouldn't have said that or you shouldn't have done that. And I
Yeah.
see why you did. And let's talk about that and figure out what we can do differently next time.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
that's the
because it
value of
becomes
what you and I do.
right. It becomes so lonely, right? And isolating and a little bit crazy
Isolating.
making when you're doing it all alone. Like there's so much benefit sometimes to the sessions I have with parents or moms where we don't necessarily even have like a problem to solve or talk through, but just to like, okay, tell me like all your thoughts and feelings that you've had that you
Mhm.
felt like you couldn't say out loud. And like I'm here to let you know you didn't ruin your child,
Yeah.
right? Like
Oh,
you're
that's
good
a
enough.
classic. Yeah. Hmm.
Right,
Hmm.
like all like I can help calm, I can help co-regulate with you that you have not caused irreparable
Hmm.
damage to them type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That there, for us to be sturdy, you need to have people in your world that can help you
Mhm.
stay sturdy, right? People that can tell you when you really you need to go back and repair, right?
Yeah,
And when you really didn't do anything that can't be repaired, right?
right.
And a lot of the work that I do is like validating people's reality, right? Of like, no, that really was kind of on the line of gaslighting you or gaslighting your kid, and here's how you need to respond. You know,
Okay.
um, I think that's tricky, and I think I see that more with folks who tend towards that anxious flavor, right? Because
Because they don't
they
trust
are
them.
concerned about,
Yeah.
yes, they want to be a great parent. They want to be a really great, sturdy caregiver. And that's the place to hit them where it hurts, is to be
Right.
like, oh, you're messing up your kid, right?
Mhm.
Of course
Mhm.
they're not. Because people that care about that don't do that kind of damage,
Mm-mm.
honestly.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No, no, they don't. They're not the ones signing up for the coaching program. They're not the ones
No.
like constantly looking and Googling and reading articles, right? Like
Yeah, they
those.
don't find us. No. No.
Mm.
They don't find us.
Yeah.
So
What would you say though is, and I want to respect time. How long are we doing this for?
Oh, let's do it for a couple more minutes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
We should do
what
it
do
again
you,
now.
yes, well, we
Also,
are.
we
Oh,
are
I
going to
guess
do it again because we're going to do a podcast.
a long, is that one an hour?
It'll be, no, I usually do them a little bit long, a little shorter. So they're
Okay.
between like 20 and 30 minutes usually. Although you and I could chat, you know, quite a bit.
Mhm.
So we'll decide as we get closer to it, I would
Okay.
say.
What do you think
But
is
yeah,
the most needed, this might be a really hard question I'm putting you on the spot with, like
I'm ready.
the most needed part of your program that
No,
really like
actually,
hits your, yeah.
I love this because, and I'm curious if you found this to be true for yours.
Hmm.
I thought when I made it that the answer would be the lessons, that people wanted the information, the education.
Like what? Like the
That's
definition of gaslighting, the definition of
yes, yes.
narcissistic
And like,
attachment.
here's what to do at transitions. Like that is what, when I designed it, I was like, this is what moms are going to love. And
Yeah.
that is not true. The people in my community are saying like, no, what we love is the group coaching, like getting
Mhm.
on a call, hearing you answer, but also hearing other moms talk about how they would
Mhm.
respond and what they would do. And here's a strategy, way more beneficial than anything I could have, you know, come up with. Like, and I didn't expect that. I thought it would be helpful. That's obviously why I put it in the program, but I
Right.
wasn't thinking that that was like the sauce, the the
Yeah.
magic. I was like, this is an add-on. It's not. And I think it's because of what you were saying before, that the isolation is so debilitating. And
Hmm.
just to know you're not by yourself and that other women are going through this and have very similar values around protecting their kids and using good skills and like how do I help them come out of this like good people,
Yeah.
um, is really, really powerful. I'm humbled by it all every week when I do it. Um,
It was just so interesting because I hear that time and time again, and I haven't launched yet. I'll be launching September, but like,
Yay!
yeah.
Yeah, tell me, what do you think yours is? I'm
But wait,
curious.
wait, let me what mine will be. I think it's going to end up being the community, but it's interesting because a lot of times you get on calls and people are a little intimidated by the group calls, right? We always think like one-on-one is better. Like, oh, I'll have, Dr. Monday's undivided attention, or like we can talk through mine. But at the end of the day, I hear it time and time again. People like the group because it's the community piece. It's the like normalizing. Oh, I'm not the only one that like had a shitty transition yesterday, or like my kid is struggling in this way, or feels like they're not a good enough parent. Like, and to hear like, how other parents are maybe handling similar situations, but in a slightly different way, but like
Mm-hmm.
it not as
Mm-hmm.
an intense like I'm on the spot and have to change it. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Like I can listen passively on the group call to somebody else's time or question, and now I can take that information and try it on my own without it necessarily being like me front and center getting
Yes. Yes.
feedback.
And it's different than, so for me, there are a lot of Facebook groups. There are a lot of free groups. There are a lot of like co-parenting with a narcissist type groups.
Yeah.
What I hear again and again is that it feels different when you're actively participating and you know the other group members. And the big difference is it's not venting. There's
Hmm.
a lot of like complaining in some of
Yeah.
those free resources, not all of them, but there's a lot of like, this person's so terrible. And then people will give you a little bit of support, but it's not the same
I
as I think what you and I might do, which is like, yeah, that's really sucky. Here's your part in it. Here's what you can do. And
Yeah.
here's the tool that I want you to try. And let's run with that. Right. Like, of course, we validate you, but I don't let people stay stuck there too long. Right.
No, because it's so not help. Like we got to move
It's not
along through
helpful.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't help you. It doesn't actually help you feel better. Right. If
Mhm.
you are in a really anxious place, staying stuck there isn't,
No.
I don't know, doesn't help. I mean, a
No.
little bit if you're doing exposure work, but like, like, I don't want to stay dirty, but I have to stay there a
Mhm.
little bit for myself sometimes to like validate and get it. And then you move on, right? This is
Right.
what we're going to
Right.
do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
So
have so
you're,
many questions. I
oh,
could
I
keep
know we need to keep
going.
talking.
I
So
know.
not today, but
So,
we will keep talking. So you launch in September. Tell us about that.
yes, I am going to launch in September with a beta group. So, looking at like 5 moms. Keeping it a
Okay.
little bit small right now, but in exchange, so 50% off of what the price will be in
Great.
exchange for testimonials and feedback, right? Like
Right.
I don't know if you did this in your program, but like I have a created it, but I'm also want to be flexible and adapt it to like what's most
Yes.
needed, right? Like you didn't know your sauce was the group community. And so
Yes.
if there's like a module that needs a little bit more or like it needs to be expanded because people are resonating it, moms are resonating it with it so much, I want to be able to make that change. And I'm only going to get that from like the live feedback. So that's kind of the first beta group. You give some
Yep.
testimonials and you give some ongoing feedback so I can make changes, which is really awesome, right? Like financially, it's a steal, right? It's like so great. And then also to have the ability to share what you need more and then get that is like, I don't know, pretty
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
mean 50% off for that level of support and learning is incredible. It's really, really incredible.
Hmm.
Yes, I did something very similar
Oh,
in the spring, kind of my first wave of people, and they've been so wonderful, and I've learned so much and really adapted some things and developed a few things for them in
good.
particular.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so that's how people come into our world. And I always say, like, not new to doing this, new to doing it in this format. Right. So
Right.
there's always a
Right.
little bit of like tech bumps and figuring out things. And those moms were so gracious getting that up and rolling, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and like you said, we offer something in exchange for that, right? Like
Definitely.
you get a
Hmm.
lot, and then we get a lot back as people that are running these programs, which are meant to help even more people. That's the whole
Right.
point. It's like so many moms need this your support and the type of program that mine is, and like we're just it's just about getting it to the right people,
Right.
at the right
It
time.
is. Do you, last question I'm going to hit you with, how do you
Yeah.
feel leaning into coaching versus like how we've normally, right? Like individual
Oh,
therapy or dyadic therapy. Yeah, like I want to know your experience with it.
I love it because as a therapist, I have to be very neutral, right?
Hmm.
The child is my patient. The child is the one that I'm working with, and my job is to support their relationship with both parents, regardless of what's happening, right? So in
Right.
that role, I can't say or wouldn't say to one parent, like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to say to keep your kid moving forward, right?
Hmm.
In the kids first system, it's so much more directive, and I can be so much more forward and explicit with moms about what's going to be helpful, right? And I get to support both. I support mom as she supports the kiddo. It's almost like I'm in the room. I'm like whispering in her ear, like, this is what you say when they come home and say, like, I hate dad,
Yeah.
which isn't always what they say, but
Hmm.
um, where it's a little bit different in the therapeutic role. So it's
Right.
very cool. I really enjoy that
Hmm.
difference. Um, I think I wouldn't say it's more beneficial. I think it's differently beneficial,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you think it's the same for yours?
Yeah, I feel like I can just be a little bit more direct, right? Like, and
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
have to kind of stay so much of an observer and like a reflector. Although I'm pretty
Yes.
directive in therapy, I just feel even more free to do it. Coaching, like, okay, this is what we're trying this week. Go out and do
Yes.
it. Let's like get a game plan and you go. I also find because in therapy, like they bring kiddo in, right? So I actually find results go faster with coaching because it's yes, times it's important for kiddo to be in therapy, but a lot of times the work is in the parent only sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of
Mm-hmm.
all the things we know, right? Like it really starts with that family system
Yeah.
and the relationship. So I find when I'm working with kiddo a lot, we're doing this skill stuff, but I don't get as much time with parent directly, and then it elongates sometimes
Yeah.
progress. So I just find that results are not results because that's like, but improvements, right? Reduction in meltdowns, increase in confidence, understanding, and all that goes faster with coaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a different route,
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
for me, like a lot of times the kiddo will still be in therapy with one of my
Yeah,
trusted
yeah. There's.
colleagues, right?
Hmm.
But because I'm working with mom, I can do that. I can support her in a different way, right? And so there's different it's always a good conversation when you're thinking about
What's the best
coaching
fit?
versus
Yeah,
therapy, right?
yeah,
It's a good thing to talk to people about because they are different, right?
yeah.
Um, and that's okay. It's about what you need and what your kid needs in the moment. So, all
Hmm. Hmm.
right, my dear. Well, thank you to
Okay.
everybody that joined us live. We're hoping this recorded. We're not entirely sure.
Oh,
However, because this is our first live together, which is kind of cool.
it's my first live
If you can't
ever.
tell, yeah, I know. I did one
Mhm.
as part of a podcast guest. So that was kind of cool. But if you don't follow both of us, please do, because if you can't tell, Dr. Julianne and I are friends and colleagues and big supporters of one another's work. And so we're out here, women supporting women, trying to lift each other up and really respect and value each other. So you will hear us talk again though, because my podcast is launching in August, and Dr. Monday is going to be one of my first guests on. So we do
My God.
bonus guest interviews. So it's very
Yeah.
fun, Julianne.
What
It's
are you
very, very fun.
calling it? What are you calling the podcast?
It's called the Kids First Co-Parenting
Okay.
Podcast. Yeah, I
Awesome.
settled on just what it is that I'm doing. It felt like the best approach. It's just another way to get people the information,
Yeah.
and to kind of hear my perspective on things before making a leap to work with me in that
Yeah.
capacity if they need. And also a way, if that's not an option for you, you can still get a little support, you know?
Love it. I love it. I'm so excited for it. I'm so
Yeah,
excited for you.
and I will keep watching our Instagrams and Facebooks, and we'll be letting everybody know when Julianne does launch. What is the program called?
Wired to connect.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. So,
Yeah.
Wired to Connect, everybody, in September. If you have any questions about it, you can message Julianne directly, right?
Yep,
On
Dr.
Instagram.
Julie Monday on Instagram. And I have a Facebook group
Oh,
with moms
yeah.
in it. Yep, so there'll be another VIP group once the course launches. But right now I have a community I'm trying to build up with moms who are just struggling with some of the same things. And so we can I post resources on it. I do Facebook Lives on there. So maybe when I post this on mine, I'll put the link for the Facebook group too, if
That's a
anyone
great
wants
idea.
to.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I will also share it. Okay.
Cool. All
All right.
right.
Thank you for being here, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, my friend.
Bye.